Hey everybody, I hope and pray that you're doing well. Today as we come to our word from the Word. And today that word is proof. Proof. Now you may look at those almond blossoms right there and think, well, that's proof that I'm going to be sneezing because of allergies or whatever the case may be, or proof that spring is on the way. But here as we are in February and especially in Virginia, you never know what the weather's going to look like. So you never know when you might see something like that. But in Numbers chapter 17 today, as we look, following up on all that pandemonium we talked about yesterday, as we look now, God is going to make sure everyone knows that not only has He placed Moses in where he's supposed to be, but He's also placed Aaron where he's supposed to be, and the line of the priesthood line through Aaron is also key. And so, the people keep rebelling against God and rebelling against the leaders that He's put there. And so here you find in that pandemonium, you found out that Aaron had interceded. He was interceding on behalf as well. And so now that should be enough proof, right? The fact that the plague stopped when Aaron was interceding, and yet here we are, the people are continuing to rebel. And or even on top of that, God says, you know what, I'm going to give further proof to the people so they are essentially without excuse. And so here's what we find out. They say, okay, well, I want you to get the staff, right, from each one of the 12 tribes. And so the one you take from the Levites, remember they were set apart, Aaron was going to have that one, and then everybody was to write their name on their staff. And then we're going to take them and place them in front of the ark. And so here, let's just pick up right there. Number 17, verses 8 through 11. Now it came to pass on the next day that Moses went into the tabernacle of witness, and behold, the rod of Aaron of the house of Levi had sprouted and put forth buds, and had produced blossoms and yielded ripe almonds. Then Moses brought out all the rods from before the Lord to all the children of Israel, and they looked, and each man took his rod. And the Lord said to Moses, bring Aaron's rod back before the testimony to be kept as a sign against the rebels, that you may have put their complaints away from me, lest they die. Thus did Moses just as the Lord had commanded him. So he did. So I'm going to tell you two proofs here. One, God was proving that Aaron was his selected line for the priest. And He did so by taking each one of these tribes and saying, okay, this is the tribe I have selected. I have selected the Levites to do this particular service, to watch over and look after the things of the temple. I've set them apart, or the things of the tabernacle, have set them apart. And Aaron is to be their spokesman because, remember, he is the one, his name is on it, and you see that God has clearly chosen this. I mean, overnight, right? I mean, it may happen quick anyway, but it doesn't happen like that. And so here's the key. So that's one proof that God has chosen him. But here's the other proof that I think as we look at it, think about this. 12 dead pieces of wood. A staff, a stick. I mean, we imagine like a walking stick, right? I mean, you took that staff, all of them are dead. Why? Because they have been removed from their source of life. They've been removed from whatever type of tree that they were made out of. And yet now, one of them has life. It's proof of the power of God. And what do you see as proof of the power of God living in that staff as a representation, right? You see life and you see fruit. Now, you think about that. Take that. I mean, just something simple. I say simple, but this simple illustration that God has given them, He says, look, I can take something that is dead and make it alive. I can choose anything that I want and use it. I used to always hear that, look, God can draw a straight line with a crooked stick, right? So He can use any of us how He sees fit. And we're all dead without Him. And the thing is that the Israelites did not realize, these rebels just continue to fail to realize that God had a plan and that God was going to use the people he had put in place. It would do us good to recognize that first, that God has put people in our lives for a reason. He has put leaders in our lives for a reason. He has put people to guide us. And on the other side, he's put people for us to lead and for them to follow us for a reason. But the other part we need to remember that as believers, is there proof of life in us? Right? If you claim to be a believer, is there proof? Is there fruit that's showing? And see, this was a reminder as he put that rod back in front of the ark, so that every time somebody would be even just thinking about saying, well, Aaron's not the one, they would be reminded of the life that was in him. And I think it's also this reminder for us that, look, anytime somebody would complain against us as believers, we should be able to have that fruit that's showing them, and look, it doesn't matter what you say. It matters what God says. It matters about the life that God has given me. Today, I would ask you, one, has God been trying to show you something or someone in your life to prove that he's put that person there for a reason, that he's put that person in your life for a reason? Has God shown you that proof, and maybe you failed to realize it? Maybe that person is keeping you from going any further. Maybe that person that God has put in your place, it has put in your way, is kind of like that staff. He said, remember what he said, lest they die, lest they continue to rebel and die. Maybe God's put somebody like that in your life. And then the other thing is, look, is there proof of life in you? Jesus tells us in the New Testament, you will know each other, right? By your fruit. Is there any proof of Christ in your life today? God bless you, and I pray you have a great, great day.